There's another video that I saw today, and I've never seen this guy before, and looks like he's pretty popular on YouTube. Has anybody heard of the YouTuber Stony Ridge Farmer? Stony Ridge Farmer. I thought this was interesting, and he looks like he has a pretty faithful following. He says, cops showed up to investigate veteran's farm, heartbreaking disbelief. This is a guy who has his faith still in law and order. He still has his faith in and belief in, the good folks in law enforcement and all that. But I wonder if, I don't know, we can get through to him because, the whole reason I even have a YouTube presence is so that we can expose tyranny and foster freedom. But the only way we can do that is to unite. That's the only way. I want to make this world a better place. This existence is so temporary, but while I'm here, I want to do the best I can to make the world as good of a place as it can be. Why? Because there's people in this world that I love. Even outside of family, there are people that I care about who also have family that I care about, and they're going to create more human beings on the earth, and we're going to leave, when we die, we're going to leave this earth in some kind of shape for our children and our grandchildren. I don't want my kids growing up in tyranny. I don't want in 50 years to, if I was able to look back in 50 years, I'm sure I'll be dead in 50 years, but I don't want to look back and go, oh my gosh, what could I have done to keep America from becoming North Korea? Because that's where we're headed, man. If we don't care about each other, then what's the point? Exactly, Jeff McNeely. Exactly. What is the point of trolling somebody? I understand, there's these troll channels, and I have freely admitted and will continue to freely admit that there's some pretty distasteful things that First Amendment auditors do that I think gives us a bad name. And when I say us, I'm talking about people who care about the First Amendment. For starters, what I like about First Amendment auditing is that they're sensitizing people to our actual unalienable rights. Do I think some of them take it to the extreme and they become like nuisances? They appear as though they're public nuisances, doing things to people. You have a freedom to do things, but it's probably not wise to use your freedom in every single situation. There's an application of knowledge called wisdom. And if we would just apply wisdom and put ourselves in other people's shoes, hey, maybe this person's having a bad day. Maybe they wouldn't like a camera. Yeah, I'm free in a public place, on a public sidewalk or in a post office or whatever to record whatever my eyes can see, and my eyes can't be trespassed. But maybe this person just lost their grandfather or grandmother or mother or father or son or daughter. And maybe, they're keeping it all bottled up inside and they're exploding on you, not because they're a Karen, but because they're an individual. So yeah, there's a lot of distasteful things that I see a lot of First Amendment auditors do that I wouldn't personally do. And yeah, they got the freedom to do it, but it's just borderline. It just makes it look like we're just a bunch of callous, non-sympathetic buffoons. And I can't stand that. On the other end of the scale, and you got the trolls just broad brush making fun of First Amendment auditors and actually applauding and welcoming tyranny onto American soil and actually calling for the arrest of people who literally have reached out their hand to hurt nobody. I see that as bad too. Why can't we have a happy medium where, yeah, we're exercising our rights, but man, if that person doesn't want to be recorded, hey, I won't record them. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to record, especially when somebody's coming up to you and being violent and all that stuff. It's like, hey, they brought that on themselves. I was just recording the building, and then you put your face in my camera saying, why are you sticking your camera in my face? It's like, no, you got this all wrong. I'm a peaceful person, but honestly, you put your face in my camera. I wasn't looking to record you, but now you've made yourself a star, and it wasn't my fault. So I get that. And it's kind of a fine line. But man, some of the stuff, and I watch all kinds of stuff. I watch the trolls channels. I watch, the really good breakdown channels like James Freeman and Lackluster, and how they just break it down to its simple, most fundamental. Hey, this. I love going back to basics. This is liberty. Don't harm anybody. Don't threaten to harm anybody. Don't damage people's stuff. It's never right to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. Follow the golden rule. Do to others what you would want done to you. Conversely, don't do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. And then based on that springboard, that foundation, that pillar right there, that's where I'm going to make all my decisions, from that framework through those lenses right there. And so I like to look at people who disagree with me because maybe I'm missing something. And if I'm missing something, you know, part of life is to improve. Part of life is to realize, hey, I probably made a mistake here. I probably said the wrong thing there. I might have convoluted thinking here. I need to reassess and I need to reevaluate. And that's life. The reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So when I see people kind of struggling like this guy is, and I'm not by any means condemning this guy, because after I saw this video, I went in, you can see I subscribed, I hit the all button. So I've got all notifications turned on. I even left him a pretty lengthy, and I don't usually do this on other people's channels, but I left a pretty lengthy comment that probably nobody will ever see except you guys. If you want to go to his channel and thumbs it up, and maybe it can be seen by more people, and I'll read it here in a second. But this guy proves that he does everything right. I think he lives in North Carolina. And he did everything right. He was building this massive building. Here he's got it's cool drone shots too, by the way. This is his massive building right here. So he's building this building, and he's got to pull permits. He's got to pull a electrician's permit. He's got to pour the concrete. He's got a septic tank permit that he's got to do. He goes to the city and he tells everybody, you know, here's how much I spent on this. This is what it's going to be used for. This is the location. These are the dimensions. So through the whole video, he's saying, hey, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I follow the rules. I pay my fair share. These are all things we've got to get out of our psyche, man. We've got to be thinking properly on this. And at the end of it, he basically says, what do you guys think? I mean, should we really be paying all these taxes? Do I really own my property if I have to ask somebody for permission to build a freaking building on my property? And here's what he, you know what? I'm not going to do the video here. I'll do a separate video. If you guys want me to do a separate video on this, put a 1 in the room. This is from Stony Ridge Farmer. I like what he said. I'm going to read to you, and I'll probably do this in the next video too, but I'm going to read to you what I said, because he's talking about the tax and regulatory system and the law enforcement agencies who are going to come and actually enforce these freaking laws. See, politicians can make all the laws they want to, but if those laws don't have teeth, in other words, there aren't men with guns who voluntarily sign in the dotted line to enforce these laws, it's like a toothless lion. What are you going to do? You got no teeth. You got no claws. What are you going to do to me? I'll just, I'll take care of you in short order. But because you have teeth and claws and you know how to use them, I'm in jeopardy. Politicians' laws would have no teeth. They would have no claws if it wasn't for the law enforcement community. So who's worse? The people who write the laws to say, go get this guy and put this guy in prison for having done no crime, or the people who are actually grabbing the guy and putting him in prison? I contend that as bad as politicians are, they're not the ones putting their hands on people and actually trampling over their conscience to do bad to their fellow man. So he says, with the tax and regulatory system and the advent of the income tax, which interestingly, this is what I wrote to him. This is my post under his video, which interestingly came into being in the same year as the Federal Reserve. So the income tax came in 1913. Federal Reserve came in 1913. We need to stop lying to ourselves. This is no longer the land of the free, home of the brave. And was it ever? It's questionable. This is the land of the fee and home of the slave. If you're not free to do whatever you want on your own property, as long as it's not harming others, then you're not free. The government is not here to serve and protect. They're here to harass and collect. And we see that. Come on. All you have to do is open your eyes. You know that's what it's all about. You don't own your property. If you have to constantly pay property tax every single year, what happens if you don't pay it? They come in and take your property. Then it's not really yours if they can do that. We are sheep and we're being fleeced. If we don't stand up, stand together, and create a parallel economy with sound money, real food, and clean water, and oust the banksters and the corporate whores who want so badly to take our arms, we are sunk. Just found out about your channel today and subscribe. You seem to be a good man, but please understand, being a law abider does not make a person good. As a matter of fact, being a law abider can actually make you a bad person. Are you really going to obey a law that says, if you free the slaves, you have the right to apprehend the person who freed the slave and throw them into jail. Are you going to obey that law? It was a law for a long time that it's okay to off little babies in the womb. You really going to abide by that law? Don't call yourself a law abider. Most laws are evil, unjust, unfair, and downright evil. They just are. Matter of fact, living as a law-abiding order follower is what the founders resisted. Submitting to governmental tyranny will always backfire. Compromising with tyrants will only bring more tyranny. The founders were rebels and outlaws in the eyes of the government that tried to oppress them. They stood together, resisted, and won. Thanks for the video. I've dedicated my channel to exposing tyranny. If I can ever be of service, let me know. Because we got to unite with people like this. He's got 781. He's closing in on, it's over 750,000 subscribers. So he's probably got a lot of faithful people that watch. A lot of those people probably support law enforcement. We need to reach out to these people. We need to befriend them. And we need to just talk on the plane of logic and morality. Because upon the plane of logic and morality dies the tyranny of the boys in blue. It dies. It can't live. You can't be a boy in blue and be moral. You can't be exacting tyranny on and enforcing the laws, the evil laws of politicians, and be a moral person. You can't have that. It's like oil and water. It absolutely, or fire and ice. It doesn't mix. So let me know if you guys want me to go over this. I'm kind of itching to go over this and may do it on a live stream. But a lot of things in this video need to be addressed because he opens a massive can of worms. And if more people can see his video, they can see that, hey, we're living in a false reality. We're living in an illusion. There's one guy wrote something that had a lot of likes, and I responded to it. I was like, dude, thank you for weighing in. It had like 367 likes. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is right here. I think this is the one I responded to. Let me see if this is. A lot of people responded to this guy because he said the absolute right thing. Yep. I said, dang, we need more people like you, brother. Thank you for speaking what's in my mind and heart. Here's what he says. Listen to this. This is powerful. As a fellow veteran, I understand where you're coming from. As I have gotten older, I have realized that we, in fact, do not own our land. We only rent it from the local government. When someone can take something from us because we cannot pay what they tell us to, we do not own that thing. Our founding fathers understood that property was a way to create wealth and liberty. We as a society have strayed far from what we were supposed to be. We are now working nearly 6 months or more per year just to pay some form of taxes. We are not free. We have the illusion of freedom. Enough said. I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for being here. We got to stick together. We got to change our world. Enough of this just criticizing somebody just to criticize or to gain points or to own somebody. It's just so ridiculous. It's so hollow. It's so empty. And the powers that shouldn't be laugh at us every time we do that stuff. So I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next heavily censored shadow ban live stream. Take care.